Hello and welcome to my kitchen. I'm Judith, and today I'm going to do one of my absolutely favorite dishes. Now this dish is called, excuse me if I get the pronunciation wrong, Nasu Hasami-agi. It is a Japanese dish, and it just basically means eggplant with sesame chicken, which I don't get to do very often because it depends on when these eggplants are available. These are Indian eggplants. They are small and round and gorgeous, and I have a couple of sizes here. We have the little ones and we have the medium-sized ones. We are going to use the larger ones tonight. And I don't know about you, but when I see the seasonal vegetables show up in the store, I am so excited. We also have English peas. Oh my god, I love English peas. So I've shelled a whole bunch, and that's going to go with for dinner, along with some wild rice mix, wild and brown rice. And we're going to cook that up and mix it in with some mushrooms and shallots. And our aubergine, or eggplant, we are going to stuff with some ground chicken thigh. And of course it's going to be a mixture of mirin and soy sauce in it. And don't do like me and put your mirin in the fridge. If you do, it gets really thick and hard to pour. It's perfectly fine in a cupboard. Once the chicken's ground and seasoned with green onion and mirin and soy sauce, we're going to coat it with sesame seeds. And I apparently don't have many sesame seeds left. Not the raw ones, anyway. Not particularly fond of using the roasted ones in this dish because we are going to deep fry it, but I may have to mix them together to get enough to go around. I got to get the chicken ground up and seasoned and the eggplant stuffed. We aren't going to do all of them. I'm going to save some for another dish. I think we're just going to do the biggest ones. Okay, to get started, I have 3 boneless, skinless chicken thighs that I've chopped into chunks. I might not be able to stuff all of that into my aubergines, but we can try. And I have 2 green onions, or scallions, that I've cut into pieces. Now, the original recipe says to just use the green part, but my green parts weren't so lovely, so we're getting the whites too. Okay, you can add the green onions after you mince the chicken if you prefer, but I do kind of like to do it all at once. So let me get this situated here. There we go. And this only takes a minute or 2. Make sure everything's perfect. We do want it almost to a paste. So now we're going to add our seasoning. The seasoning is 1 tablespoon of mirin, 1 tablespoon of dark soy sauce, a half a teaspoon of sesame oil. Oops, a little bit extra, but I like sesame oil, so. And a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So we're just going to get a little pinch in there. Down so it's. There we go. And we need to mix till combined. So you're basically looking for pretty much a paste. This is what we're going to stuff into our little eggplants. So now we're going to stuff our little eggplants. First thing you want to do, cut down, not all the way through, and then at right angles again. Again, not all the way through. So it will open up into a nice little flower. And I did chill my chicken. Otherwise it's going to be really soft and squishy. It still is really soft and squishy. And we're going to stuff the chicken in there. And really fill it. Like, unless you're doing an appetizer and you're using smaller eggplants, if this is going to be dinner, this is the main part of dinner, so you really want to fill it up. And round it off, clean it up. Don't squish on it, like don't press in on it, because otherwise your chicken is all just going to come right back out. So I generally put 2 fingers, my thumb and my finger, between 2 portions of the eggplant and hold that open and go around. And then make sure the bottoms are filled. Eggplant itself is fairly clean, everything's rounded. You may want to have some paper towel or something to clean your fingers with, which is a really good idea. And then, sesame seed time. There we go. And then into the flour. And that one's big and beautiful. I was worried I had too much chicken. Well, turns out for the size of my eggplants, I had just enough to do 4. And yes, they're very, very fully stuffed. They are big, big and beautiful. And if you remember how big they were when I started, they were about half that size. So, the next step is to deep fry them. To cook our lovely stuffed aubergines, eggplants, we are going to put them into, obviously, hot oil. I recommend doing only a couple at a time, just so you're not overloading your deep fryer and cooling the oil off too much. Once you've got the bottom brown, drop them over onto the side and then just turn them. You pretty much should take 1 turn and make sure you get them cooked through. You don't want raw chicken in the middle. If you're wondering how you can tell that it's actually cooked or getting cooked, you can hear the change in the sound of the oil. Because the eggplant and the chicken will start releasing its liquid, and that will make the oil splatter and splutter and get a lot louder. And once it's done, take them out and put them on a plate with some paper towel. And do the next batch. Well, for small ones, it should take 3 to 4 minutes for this size, because they are fairly large, and I did stuff them fairly well. I'm going to give them 5 to 6 minutes to make sure. And you want the splattering to kind of calm down, because that is just signifying that they are still cooking. Now, of course, we need to make a dipping sauce. So we want 4 tablespoons. I'm just going to do it in a measuring cup, and then put it into side bowls for serving. But 4 tablespoons dark soy sauce, 3 tablespoons of mirin or sweet sherry. If you don't have mirin, sherry is a good substitute, as long as it's sweet. And now we want some dashi. There should be 4 tablespoons of dashi. I do not have dashi made, so what I'm going to do is I need a little bowl, and I have some dashi powder, which I'm just going to do maybe, I think, 1/4 of a teaspoon or less. A little less than 1/4 of a teaspoon. And mix that with 4 tablespoons of hot water. Because the dashi powder is quite strong. And it's just hot tap water. I didn't boil it or anything. In it goes. Now, of course, you want to give it a little bit of a taste. Yeah, the dashi's a bit strong. It's definitely the predominant flavor. But I'm not sure that I actually want it any sweeter. I think I will put a little bit more mirin in. Just 1 more tablespoon to balance it a bit. Well, maybe not quite a whole tablespoon. Ah, yes. That's much better. So, there's our dipping sauce. I realized that English peas are not a traditional vegetable in Japan, but as I said at the beginning of the video, when I see the seasonal vegetables show up, I get excited. So, we're serving English peas with our Japanese eggplant. So let me pull that off. Let's have a cut in there and see what we have. Oh, looks wonderful. And yes, I'm not using chopsticks because these are large and they would be very hard to deal with chopsticks. That makes me very happy. That is so good. So, but I don't think I got any of the eggplant in that bite. Let's try one with eggplant. Eggplant doesn't want to stick to my fork. Oh, creamy, soft, and delicious. Let's try a little bit of the dipping sauce. And that is amazing. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the recipe, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. It's been my pleasure to cook this, and I am going to enjoy eating it so much. I will see you again soon with another video.